All right, hey everybody. Hopefully you're doing well today. It's a Saturday morning, and it is hot everywhere. So a good day to stay in and play some baseball. So the other night we sort of visited Dombrov baseball, talked about it, and I think it's a good game. Hey, there's a break. There was no break. No breaks. I didn't take a break from watching another game. Nah, I just thought I would just get on and kind of just do this for a little bit, see where it goes. So welcome in, bud. So, we visited Dunbar Baseball. I think it's a good game. I really do. It'd be nice if people would give it a chance. It's not quite as well. It's clunky. There's some user interface issues with it and stuff like that. But I think it's a very promising game. Definitely give it a solid B grade right now on an A B C D F scale. So it's definitely a B. Definitely room for improvement. I would hope that Richard Dombrowski will reconsider changing that opening screen to the way it used to be. But he's been resistant to that. But I can see that he is making some progress with it, um, and maybe rework some other things. But we talked about the availability of seasons and how you can roll your own. Which you can also do in out of the park baseball and digital diamond baseball. And of course, the advantage of those three games is you don't have to pay for seasons. So, and right out of the rip, you can pretty much do what you want. Action PC is a different animal. You do have to buy seasons, but different game packages come with an amount of seasons and stuff like that, and maybe a little product here or there. But I still think this is a great one to buy because you can either, buy Baseball Complete, which is every season. That's not every product, but it is every season from 1880 to the present. And or you just buy it piecemeal over the years as you need things. That's what I've done. That's what a lot of people in the community have done. But in a community that largely does season replays, I think that there's some great products offered by Action PC Baseball specifically, that I think tend to get ignored. And so I just wanted to highlight. Hey, there's Bernard. Bernard, let us know in the chat what time your game is today. I know it's usually 1:30 on Saturdays, but I could be wrong. Let me know. So I'm just kind of doing this to just got a need for some baseball today. But anyhow, so these are products I think that kind of get overlooked, and wanted to kind of go through with them. Of course, once again, we're going to revisit the baseball history collection, which is different than Baseball Complete, but that'll be sort of at the end. Okay, so 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and that's going to be the 1950 Red Sox replay, and that's done on PC Replay Baseball. So there's a lot of digital baseball games that I play. I love them. I still even play old time baseball, which really is the granddaddy of MLB The Show in a lot of ways, without a minor league system, I guess. But a great baseball game that's a flawed gem, and gonna do a game with it here again sometime to show you just how flexible that is, um, because it came with everything up to the time, what have you. But anyhow, back to this. So you see, there's 1886 up on the screen. Nothing remarkable except that this is just one of the seasons. So in Action PC Baseball, every season from 1880 to 2022 is available, plus the projection disc for 2023. So um, unlike Out of the Park Baseball or Digital Diamond, where you can kind of play the season as it progresses, in this one you're basically buying a projection disc, which is still not bad. I don't have it, and the only season I don't have that Action PC offers is 2022. I like to support Dave Cook, but you know my interest in 2020's baseball isn't exactly, you know, not a thing that I usually do. So I'll wait till that goes on sale, probably toward the end of the baseball season. I don't think it's on sale today, or I would pick it up. I'm not really interested, except for using it in draft leagues. But what else is available in this game? Well, a lot. So we're going to cover mostly Dave Cook projects, and then after we kind of review once again the baseball history collection, we'll go over some couple fine home brews that are out there that you guys might want to look into. All right, so let's jump into it. And again, may your wallets forgive me if you decide to go with some of these because they're really, really great. So you're gonna have to bear with me as I go through these because I have so much stuff installed here that it might take me a little while to sort of find things. All right, we'll start down here in recent leagues and let us find what we can find. All right, first up here is baseball's top 160 teams. This is a product available from DK Sports. So right now we're looking at the National League. This is split into two files, 80 great National League teams and 80 great American League teams. And bear in mind as we go through these that Action PC Baseball's flexibility is just I would say unparalleled. You know, there's Out of the Park is a very, very close second. Baseball for Windows also, but you have to have everything in Baseball for Windows, and that's a little harder these days to do. Unless A, you're wealthy, or B, you're a long-time user like me and have an earlier version and use the Fan Park Encyclopedia and then import everything into the latest version 5.75. But that's something we're not going to worry about. So each of these teams, this isn't set up with a schedule. This is really, really more or less meant the way Steve Tate's files are meant to be played as sort of dragging these teams in or whatever into a blank league or putting a number of these teams into a blank league and emptying the rosters and great for drafts and stuff like that. But you would have a lot of fun with these, I think, as you get a nice slice of baseball history, at least of baseball's best. And we'll look at some of the rosters here and stuff like that. It's just broken down in divisions. It's very, very utilitarian. You can see here it's normalized for whatever reason, 1903. You can change all this up. But again, not meant to be played out of the box as a season. But it's very, very, very easy to create. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay? But let's look at some rosters here. And, again, you see there's going to be, there's 4 Brooklyn teams here, which... as you would expect, there's probably some earlier ones here. Yeah, so here's 1916 Brooklyn. So you get a great cross section of baseball. All right. And let's look at some of them. So we just watched Bob Gibson pitch in Legend Sports Universe, and that great. And I'm not going to spoil it, guys, but check out that Cardinals Expos game. Robert, RGO Network. Hey, Robert stopping in and worked to say hi. It's been a hard day's night. That counts. Good to see you, my friend. Sorry I missed your game yesterday. It was a tough day, so I kind of stayed off YouTube in the evening. So, but RGO Network is doing an absolutely fantabulous 2016 replay, the year the Cubbies finally win it all. So do check out that great channel. I think of everybody that does cards and dice baseball exclusively, Robert's is the most entertaining channel, and Robert manages to do something, and I'm not knocking the other guys, so we'll just take a little detour here for a second, because when people come in and they're content creators, I like to really call out what I think they do really well. And for Robert, not only is his knowledge of baseball unquestioned, but if you think about it, to watch a dude watching a guy's hands roll dice, maybe make notations on something or whatever on a scorecard can be, well, about as exciting as watching paint dry. Robert is able to create a game experience, and I love it. And I love what Robert does. I love how engaged he is with his chat. Really check it out if you haven't subscribed, even if you don't play cards and dice baseball. It's a channel I strongly recommend. There's 2 cards and dice channels that I watch, and that's Robert RGO Network and Baseball Demos with David. Those two make it fun. Robert just adds that fun edge to it. It's great, and of course for David, you can't miss his puns. All right. So anyhow, we watched that game on Legend Sports Universe, and Bob Gibson started that game. So that's why I just decided, hey, let's pick the 1968 Cardinals. So these are not from the baseball history collection. These are the actual teams from everything that's selected here, right? That's represented. So there you've got, the usual suspects. There's Tom McCarver, Tim McCarver, Lou Brock, um, on and on. There's Roger Maris toward the end of his career, Orlando Cepeda, of course, after his time with the Giants. And so you'll see there are doppelgangers in this, which is probably why also I think it would be just crazy to try to play this thing out as a league. 80 teams in the National League, 80 teams in the American League. That's just insane. There's Curt Flood, Ted Simmons, what have you. Of course, for pitchers, there's Bob Gibson, there's Joe Horner. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And if I just go down here and want to switch seasons, and if you look here in the bottom right, look, I mean, that's a lot of baseball to play there. Let's move on to my franchise. There's the 1971 Pittsburgh Pirates in their glory, World Championship Bucks. I haven't done the logos or anything like this yet. But again, there's Willie Stargell, Jose Pagan, Richie Zisk, Manny Sanguillen, the great one, Roberto Clemente, Al Oliver, Richie Hebner. This is a crazy, crazy deep team, by the way. So, again, I think something that's definitely worth checking out. It's called Baseball's Top 160 Teams. It comes in 2 zip files. Again, one for the National League, one for the American League. Let's look at, try to figure out, I'm trying to remember everybody's favorite teams here. I know for Robert, it's the New York Mets. There's Cleon Jones, Ron Swoboda. There's Shamsky, Kranepool, Clendenin. That was a great year. The Amazins, Jerry Grody, Bud Harrelson, Duffy Dwyer, or Duffy Dyer, I'm sorry. It's very early for me. Tom Seaver, Tug McGraw. There's Koosman, Gary Gentry, Nolan Ryan. There's Nolan Ryan. How about it? So go back in time, and Nolan Ryan, before he pitched for all the other teams that he pitched for. So really, really, really fun season. Both the 1975 and 76 Big Red machines are in here. Many have argued that the 1976 Reds even a better team, but again, here you are: George Foster, Pete Rose, Dan Dreesen, Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Cesar Geronimo. I mean, it's all here for you to mix, match, do what you want. So tonight, Inside Pitch season, Mariners at the Stros. Tonight. Dwayne Martz, welcome in. Oh, hey, Robert, you're welcome, man. You earned them. Definitely. You earned those kind words. Again, if you're a seasoned replayer, this isn't going to be for you, but this is going to be focused on, we've already talked about every season available from 1880 forward, including the Federal Leagues, all the other alternate major leagues, whatever, Federal League, Players League, Union Association, American Association, what have you. So that's pretty obvious. But these, I think, more or less go by the wayside. And what you can do here is just astounding. There's, of course, the 1982 St. Louis Cardinals. All right? So I think we've spent enough time on baseball's, or at least the National League one. We can certainly go and look at the American League. And this goes back to, there's of course, a lot of dead ball teams on here, 20s, 30s, what have you. Yeah, not much else to say about this one. I think it's one of the great bargains. It's one of the it's a very, very comprehensive, a large amount of players. There we talked about, and again, this isn't set up for play yet or anything like that. But here are the 1903 Pittsburgh Pirates in that inaugural World Series against the Boston Americans. And there's Hannes Wagner, Deacon Philippe, Fred Clark. I mean, these teams are loaded. These are the best of the best. as it says on the tin. Um, and of course, Pittsburgh's first World Championship team, the 1909 Pirates. So, all right, let's get out of that and let's go to season, as I think that's going to be a little better for me to to find things. I hope you'll consider some of these. To sort of think outside the box. Um, let's go on to this one. This is called. These are decade best collections. So this next one I'm going to show you. Um, these are broken down. So you have the best of the 1900s, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, up to the 2000s. He hasn't done the 2010s yet, and I don't know why. Hey, there's World's Worst Gamer, Christopher Slovic. Yep, Bucks lost, but that's all right. You know what? I'm liking our team this year anyhow. As long as we don't have a fire sale. There's Midlife Crisis. He says, "Fun check-in before you run out to beat the typhoon weather that's coming. Man, be careful. I know there's supposed to be some crazy storm sweeping across the lower 48. So everybody out there, be careful whether it's heat or flooding or whatever." All right. So now what this set is. Again, now it's each decade set is its own purchase, so it doesn't like come with everything. But what these are the best, in other words, the best team of that decade for each franchise. So again, we look at Pittsburgh, and there's 1971, Seattle, 1979. So you're going to get some teams that aren't so good, but this would have been their best record. So they're 69 or 67 and 95 in 1979. So a great way to mix things up. Once again, let's go back. We'll look at the New York Mets. 1973, they were 82 and 79. So again, not only now this one you'll notice. Let's look at the Detroit Tigers, 1971, good year for the Tigers. And you see a lot of returning faces from the 1968 Tigers. Milwaukee, Nathaniel's in here. So there's the 1978 Brewers, 93 and 69. Larry Heil, Ben Ogilvie. There's Dave May, Jim Gantner, Andy Etchebarren, Cecil Cooper, Gorman Thomas. So much fun to be had here. And remember, again, with anything that you have in Action PC Baseball, you can just go to town, do what you want. So maybe you might want to create a draft league just out of one of these best of decade franchises, whatever. Do it. Do it. Nothing is graven in stone in these games. And if you can just imagine the insane amount of baseball, it's an uncountable number. Just with this one set. There's Oakland, of course, 1972 Oakland A's, who had that, just fantastic teams in Oakland, 72, 73, 74. I'm so sad to see that they're going to be leaving the only team in baseball now, modern baseball, it'll be going to its fourth city. These NAs mean that these guys just are not available right now. Again, these haven't been set up for play. Okay. Now, these are set up with a schedule. So if you want to just play this out of the rip, just use your league tools, reset everything, set everybody to active, zero out everything, and you're ready to rock and roll. So that's the nice thing about these, the best ofs. I don't know why he hasn't done the 2010s. I could do it, but it'll only be a homebrew. So it's like, but the database is there. So if you have it all, make your own, roll your own. It's an easy matter to look at Baseball Reference and see who had the best team, for whatever in that decade. All right, now, not to be confused with a different product that I'm going to show you one version of it right now. If I have it actually, and if not, this is where we have to. Yeah, here we go. Baseball Classic 1970s. This is different. Okay, so whereas the best of franchise collections are done at the team level, these are done at the player level. Okay. These are done at the player level, so you're going to have a few doppelgangers in this one. So this is the classic 1970s decade. So this doesn't go back. I think the earliest this does is the 1950s. So this is the 50s through today. So I think this is something that might appeal more to the community at large. Um, a lot of people feel a little bit more uncomfortable with baseball prior to, really even prior to the 1960s. So this might be one that you might want to consider, or this whole series. So we talked about doppelgangers, and we look here. Um, let's look around and see. So we've got, there's Parker Zisk, Sergio Ed Ott, what have you. There's Dave Cash. Where's Dave Cash? Where'd you go, Dave Cash? My eyes are so blurry this morning. You have to pardon me. You look at Philadelphia. Okay. So Dave Cash actually is with the Pirates, with the Phillies. So um, just be aware of that, that if you do get these. But this is, in other words, who, this is kind of like a professional version of the Steve Tate files. So, but again, fun stuff. These are called classic decades. And these are franchise players who had their best years with a certain franchise. And in some, you had that could be on two. Midlife Crisis says, so the Babe versus Joe Morgan. Yeah, they normalized the fielding for positions that they did not play and used the same Hall of Fame pitching staff in every game, so the players were facing the same pitchers. Is this possible in Action PC baseball? Yep. Yeah, you can. You can definitely do that in Action PC baseball. Hey, there's Legend Sports Universe. So just to let you guys know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but go back and please check out that game this morning, the NLDS Game 1 between the Montreal Expos and the St. Louis Cardinals. It was a great game, and that's all I'm going to tell you. It was a great one. A great one. So, yep, definitely though. That is definitely, you can set this up so you could duplicate 21 Ruth and have him play every position on the field. Yep, you sure can. So I know Steve Tate's done a number of tutorials, deep dive tutorials on player editing and things like that. I would refer you to his channels for a more in-depth discussion of that. Certainly, I know Steve loves to do instructional videos, and I'm sure he would have no trouble in showing you how to do that. You can absolutely have a team of Babe Ruths versus a team of Shohei Ohtani's, if you wanted, for instance. Yep, you could. So, um, you mean, oh, the one I'm talking about for Legend Sports Universe? If Legends would be kind enough to post the link to his channel in the chat, that's why you got a wrench, my friend. That way, Christopher can check it out. Great, great game, guys. Great game. So it was just done this morning. So Christopher, yeah, I think you are already subscribed to Legends, but yeah, it's a great project. I sort of wish I understood under the hood what he was doing, but I'm just enjoying doing it. My issue with MLB The Show is the only issue is, one of the things that I want to do in MLB The Show, which Legend says technically can be done, is I want to create fictional teams, like logos, the whole thing. Not necessarily logos, but even just fictional teams' names, but then do a draft of all-time great players onto it. So in other words, take one of those all-time roster files, dump them into a draft pool, create teams just like you could do in Action PC and Out of the Park Baseball, and do a draft that way and mix it up. I've shown you guys how to do that on Action PC with a 1960s league that's completely random. And a lot of fun because you don't know what you're going to get. And Legend says it can be done, but it's a lot of work. Anyhow, so these are called classic decades. So don't confuse this with franchise best of. This is, in franchise, I'm sorry, my mistake. Franchise best of is where you're going to get some doppelgangers. So this one is pretty much straight up forward. Again, look at the Mets here. You're probably going to run into maybe a few here and there. I'm not a fan of doppelgangers, but So that's another great product, and this is, I should check his website, but I believe it's 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. And I thought this one would be a more interest to the community. But the great teams, you've got a lot of teams on there, probably 40 to 50 of them in each set. So probably 100 out of those 160 teams are going to be squads that guys would feel familiar with. So maybe might what you might want to do, instead of doing a single season replay in the 1980s, mix and match teams from the 80s, different years, and throw them in there and see what you come up with. All right, moving right along. And again, I don't have everything loaded in here yet that they do, but this one is brilliant. The next one I'm going to show you. This is a separate product as well. There we go. This is the Baseball State Collection. This one is brilliant, out of the rip. There you go, a schedule. So what this is players are separated onto teams by their state or Commonwealth of birth. So, and right now, yay, Pennsylvania, we're tied with New York, 3 games, 3-0 in the season, whatever. But let's look at the Pennsylvania roster. As you can see, so everybody on this roster, batters and pitchers, everybody here born in Pennsylvania, right? So there's Ken Griffey, Hack Wilson, Sherry McGee, Roy Thomas, Jack Clark, Ripper Collins, Roy Campanella, Gene Tennis, Bobby Wallace, Nellie Fox, Eddie Stanky, Mike Piazza. Look at this pitching staff: Ed Walsh, Christy Mathewson, Bruce Suter's on here, Eddie Plank, Stan Kovaleski, Gene Garber, Bucky Walters, Joe Page. It's great. Let's look at New York. New York's got Jim Palmer, Sandy Koufax, Dick Rudolph, Whitey Ford, Warren Spahn, Roy Face, Waite Hoyt. It goes on and on and on and on and on. For New York, Carl Yastrzemski, Cy Seymour, Andy Van Slyke. There's Wally Shagg, George Davis, Rocco Colavito, Hank Hammer and Hank Greenberg. Paul LaDuca's in there. There's Lou Gehrig, Eddie Collins, Edgar Martinez. Who else? Who else? How about Ohio? Ohio, good baseball state. Pete Rose, Benny Koff, Ed Delahanty, Jim Wynn, Elmer Flick, Al Oliver, Kevin Youkilis, Justice Bresnahan, Frank Howard, George Sisler, Mike Schmidt, pitchers. Cy Young, Kent Tekulve. There's Jack Taylor, Roger Clemens, Raleigh Fingers, Phil Niekro. Don't sleep on these guys. This is really, really good. And you can see here the sheer amount of teams. And then when you're done playing it, maybe play it again. Use the as play, or the alternate reality mode that Action PC Baseball has, that no other baseball game that I know of has. What does Maryland look like? Let's look at Maryland. Where are they? Have they even played yet this year? So I have a couple of little projects that I do return to from time to time. All right, let's look at pitchers. Look at this, man. You got Vic Willis, Babe Ruth, Lefty Grove, Eddie Rommel, who excellent pitcher for the Philadelphia Athletics. I think the strength in Maryland. Look at this for power. Al Kaline, Babe Ruth. Hey, there's our buddy Harold Baines, everybody. We love him, right? We love him. There's Ripken. There's Jimmy Fox, Double X. Any Mark Teixeira fans here? There's Mark Teixeira. You got Home Run Baker. Buck Herzog, great dead baller. A lot of time with the New York Giants. Oregon? Yeah, sure. Glad to show you Oregon. This thing I think is like $25. So for Oregon, and again, I didn't select these colors. This is just the way they are, whatever. I still have to put in logos and things like that. I'm creating logos for this. So you got Dale Murphy, Jacoby Ellsbury. There's Kong Kingman. You got Dave Robertson here, Scott Brocious, Johnny Pesky. I'm not going to name off everybody. Scott Hatteberg is in there for pitchers. You got Jim Rooker, Mickey Lolich, or Lolich, however you want to pronounce it. So some of the Western teams, again, might not seem as power laden, but it gives you a little bit of maybe a little bit of a challenge. I think it's a pretty good team. Let's look at Texas. Kurt Flood, Tris Speaker, Ross Youngs. Um, there's Lance Berkman. There's the judge, Frank Robinson. Of course, there's the human rain delay. Who else do we have here? Stormin Norman Cash is on the Texas team. Jerry Grody. Eddie Matthews, second greatest third baseman of all time. Eddie Matthews. Cecil Cooper, Rogers Hornsby, and Joe Morgan. Who the hell do you start at second on this team? Right? Do you start Morgan? Do you start Hornsby? I say you start Hornsby, obviously, because Hornsby a good combination, or definitely power. Ernie Banks, right? I mean, God, this is crazy. Anybody else? Um, Anybody else? Seriously, more baseball? All right, big clue. Actually, we're going to be doing the all-time great roller derby tournament next. There's Andrew RW603. Greatest last name here. Midlife Crisis is speaking Pennsylvania players. Yep, yep. You are at Gettysburg Eddie's in Gettysburg a couple of weeks ago. Great food and just a plethora of Eddie Plank memorabilia. I'm staying here temporarily in the part of Pennsylvania about 30 miles from Gettysburg, if that. So maybe I have to go check that out. I didn't know there was a place called Gettysburg Eddie's. Eddie Plank from Gettysburg, attended Gettysburg College. Great pitcher. Any other states to look at before we go through? Not every state is represented because there were not enough players maybe from that state. Trying to see who, just off the top of my head. So Rhode Island, for instance, is not here. So what I've been thinking of doing, maybe down the line, let's look at Connecticut while we're talking here, is to create one or two more teams that would bring in some players from the states not represented, plus some of the best Latin American players that, say, especially Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico is part of the United States. So a team of the greatest Puerto Rican players, as well as states not represented here. So 20 of the states aren't represented for obvious reasons. So there. So his grave is across the street, definitely. Is there a New Hampshire? Let's see. I haven't looked at this one in a while. No. So New Hampshire would be one of those on here. And again, it's not that there wasn't anybody born in New Hampshire. Obviously, there was. You're not going to see Alaska and Hawaii, again, for obvious reasons, just not enough players. But so an interesting story about this sort of set is serious fans here will remember the baseball gauge, the long lamented baseball gauge, which is being integrated into Baseball Reference. And one of the things that I had thought about doing 2 years before this set came out is, I remember talking, I think it was to Robbie one night or something. I said, you know what? I'd like to do a set, create a league in whatever it would be, whatever baseball game, players by their state or Commonwealth of birth. And I thought, well, maybe I'll get to it, because and I remember famous last words: baseball gauge is always gonna be there. Well, imagine my horror. I missed that one. I wanted to create all-star game teams, right, pre-1933. What if there had been a 1926 all-star game? So much you could do in baseball gauge. So, but hopefully we'll see it back soon. So this is the baseball. This is the baseball state collection, and boy, I sure like Kansas's ace there, Walter Johnson. Actually, Johnson's about the strongest pitcher on here, as you might expect. So that's Kansas. Baseball Reference just purchased the newly popular Immaculate Grid puzzle game. Baseball Reference is gonna. It's someday they're gonna purchase Microsoft. Actually, I shouldn't joke because God forbid Microsoft should get the should get Baseball Reference. All right. So anyhow, this is the State Collection. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And again, these products that I'm showing you are not part of Baseball Complete, nor are they part. Any of these that I've shown you yet are part of the Baseball History Collection. Baseball Complete is just every season. Baseball History Collection, once more time, we'll get into what that one is. All right, let's go back up here. And what else do we have? What else do we have um, that I can show you? Yeah, okay, so here we go. We're going to be jumping in a little bit now to, oh yeah, let's go back just because I know we have some American League fans in here. God bless you. So this is the other file for baseball's top 160 teams, and this is the American League. Maybe you're just interested in American League. Well, here you go. 1954 Cleveland Indians. Look at that record: 111 wins, 43 losses. They lose to the Giants in the World Series. That's the series Willie Mays made the catch, and we do that in capital letters, don't we? Good stuff there. Some really, really, really good team. I think this is a fun one to manage. You've got some, of course, you got Larry Doby on here. You got Jim Hagan. If you're an Indians fan, Wally Westlake, you're going to know this team. There's Al Rosen, um, Luke Easter. I know he's one of MV's favorite players. There's Bobby Avila, right? Pitchers. Don Massey. He's probably maybe the one person on earth not as that I'm not as ugly as, but that would be it. There's Early Win, Bob Feller, Rapid Robert, a 3.09 earned run average that year. It's fun to just kind of explore these. Big Clue says, I have a question for American League fans. Why do you hate baseball so much? World's of Gamer says, guys, what site has active, inactive information? Just had to activate a pitcher to start a game and it as played and wanted to see what his status should be after the start. Ooh. I'm guessing Big Clue probably can jump in here as he's the real expert in these sites. I would be probably looking at things like Retro Sheets, um, looking at Back to Baseball. Back to Baseball is not only showing you those nice replays, but Baseball Reference. I think those are some of the obvious choices. I would my bet would be Retro Sheet and Back to Baseball would be, and everything comes from Retro Sheet. But I would try those two definitely. So we'll wait for the American League fans to answer Big Clue's question. Big Clue and I, diehard National League fans. Who else is here in the American League? Let's go back. And Bernard Strom, here they are, the 1912 Boston Red Sox. Smokey Joe Wood, jeez. Um, Duffy Lewis, there's Tris Speaker, Neil Ball. Neil Ball was, Neil Ball was an important part of that team. Didn't get a lot of time, but served a pinch hitter role in that play. There's Jake Stahl, who was the player manager. Olaf Henriksen, almost exclusively a pinch hitter. Hall of Famer Harry Hooper. Pardon me. And you had, as far as catchers go, Hick Cady and Bill Kerrigan splitting time behind the dish. Great teams. There's Larry Gardner, excellent third baseman. Heine Wagner, of course. Bernard Strom can tell you all about him. How about these 1913 Philadelphia A's? Here they are. This is still that $100,000 infield. Who was pitching? There's Chief Bender, Bob Shockey, Eddie Plank. Eddie Plank. There we go. We were just talking about Eddie Plank. I suppose we should show Eddie Plank here while we talk about him. There he is. There's Gettysburg Eddie. Yep. Good stuff. So just running around here. And again, you can edit players in this. Really, really fun if you want. All right, so that's the American League version of it. Who else was included? I don't know. Let's just pick a few at random. Here's the 1914 or 1940 Detroit Tigers for Darth Tate, Hank Greenberg, Pete Fox. Let's just look. Greenberg was crazy. So the power on that team, of course, Greenberg by far, but Rudy York. There's Charlie Gehringer. Speed. Any speed on this team? Not really. Not really, as you'd expect. 1940s baseball. A lot of Red Sox fans. Look at this. 1946 Boston Red Sox. Great team they were. Kind of had trouble with the Cardinals in the World Series, but they're all here. They're all here. They're all here. They're all here. Let me see. How about the Go-Go Sox? I know we have a lot of fans on the channel that are fans of the 1959 Go-Go Sox. So, yeah, big clue. Yeah, that's what I would say. So I would look at a as played game, look at the next day and the next day after that. That's very, very easy to do with sites like Back to Baseball, Retro Sheet, things like that. Back to Baseball, I think, is probably the maybe a little bit more accessible one, but but Retro Sheet is the granddaddy of them all. Bernard Strum says he's not going to take the bait. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, I'm not here shilling for Action PC. That's for sure. But one of the things that strikes me about this game, just like out of the park baseball, and this makes it easier at the player level, is just my God, what you can do. The flexibility in this game is absolutely unreal. But I wanted to show off some of these. There's Ted Kluszewski, big clue on the limited time, just 31 games for the 1959 Go-Go Sox. But there he is, nonetheless. Let's pick another team here. I'm spending way too much time in the American League, by the way. 1966 Baltimore Orioles. Do we have any Orioles fans in here? We used to have one. We used to have one. All right. Midlife Crisis says, wish you could stay. This beats grocery shopping. All right. Thank you very much, Midlife. Thanks for coming in. Have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun. Big Clue says the Clue homered in that World Series in 1959, believe it or not. Believe you. There's Boog Powell. So do we have any Orioles fans? There was one. Dude used to come around. I don't know where he is anymore. But there's Dave McNally, Mo Drabowski, Jim Palmer, pre-underwear. Of course, then you've got, I mean, Baltimore was just insane, right? There's the 70 and 71 Baltimore Orioles. 68 Tigers, we've already looked at these. Oh no, we looked at the 71 Tigers. There's the 68 Tigers. This is, so for teams that I've managed, this is one of the fun teams to manage. It really is. Because you have such a good team that you could afford to have Don Wirt and Ray Oyler in your starting lineup. Ray Oyler hitting 135 in 1968. 135, and he played in 111 games. Don Wirt hit 200, right, in 150 games. But when you've got Willie Horton, Norm Cash, Bill Freehan, Jim Northrup, Dick McAuliffe on your team, you can do that. Now, Don Wirt, to his credit, did have 12 home runs. We'll give him that. But there you go. Did Ray Oyler manage a home run that year? Yes, he did. He did have a round tripper. So the Rafael Belliard of his day. Of course, pitchers. There's McLean with his 31-6 record. You're the pitcher. You're the pitcher. Big Clue says Rob Nair and Eddie Epstein's book, Baseball Dynasties, examined teams based on the number of standard deviations from the means of runs scored and allowed. The 1976, well, I think you mean 76 to 71 Orioles, were by that measure the greatest dynasty in baseball history. Interesting. How did the 1971 Pirates beat the Orioles? So two guys, really, Roberto Clemente and Steve Blass. Yeah, and you're right, right? World's Worst Game. We're talking about the 1968 Tigers team. Um, Hard to get them to win. It is. It's a fun. It's a challenging team to manage. You have this great team, this great baseball team, but they're definitely a challenge. But I think that's a lot the same. I think for the 1967 Red Sox, who I don't see them in here, but there's 75 Boston, and there's plenty of Boston on here, you guys. But yeah, they really are. And here we are, Baltimore back again. 95. I know we have some Cleveland Indians fans. So this is the 1995 squad. Um, Bell, Ramirez, Tommy Sorrento, Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray. Oh my God! Again, another Baltimore. Um, way back. Okay, here, look. Here's another great team. The one that choked in 2001. The Seattle Mariners, 116 wins and 46 losses. This would be one of those to maybe just set up an ALCS. Very easy to do in this game. Set up the ALCS, replay it, see if they actually would fall to the Yanks. Early Boston. Here's 1903. This is that squad that faced off against the Pittsburgh Pirates in the first modern World Series, included in this set. And then let's jump ahead to the 2004. And of course, we know about these 2004 Boston Red Sox, don't we? There's the White Sox, finally winning a World Series, their first one since, wow, since 1917. All right, so that does that. There's probably some other things now I do have to install because I don't, but I do want to show you. There's also the 1800s complete. So this one's a little weird, and I'm going to show you why. So let's say you install this. You're going to see it says, oh, it only contains free agents. So normally in Action PC Baseball, what you don't want to do is unzip the files, right? Using WinZip or JZip or whatever you use. This is one of those ones that if you just want to have all stars from the 19th century, so 1880 to 1900, just use this and use this as a draft league. However, if you want to replay a season, what you have to do is go into your Windows Explorer and actually unzip Baseball Complete 1800s, and then you will get all those teams, and hence how then we can have like 1886, for instance. And there they are, and probably we're not going to know anybody on here. Well, yeah, there's Cap Anson, George Gordon, Ed Williamson. So this is a nice one. The 1880s complete. What else do I have in here before I have to start installing a few things to show you? We've talked at length about the baseball history collection, but we will go back to it. Just because. Okay, so let's cancel and let's install a couple things here. Let's install a season. And tip for you all, just again, if you're looking for just Dave Cook products, do not select display all zip files. If you're looking for everything you have, then check this box. I'm going to leave this unchecked. Look at Seasons folder, and I should have the Hall in here somewhere. So everything in here, there's all the 1800s stuff. But there's Federal League. We talked about those. So all of these leagues are in here. There's also Negro League seasons. There's the 1930s stuff that or the decade stuff that we talked about. But I'm looking for a couple things in particular here now. For just to also let you know, for the 2020 season, there's a what if. There's a 162 game version of it, and then there's the 2020 season. If anybody's interested, it is there. The classic seasons that we talked about, the classic decades, go back to the 60s, not the 50s. Okay. Let me see. The baseball franchise one. This used to be a subset of the of the baseball history or baseball history collection, the 2017 version. I believe this is now a separate product on its own. Um, but where is the haul, or have I not downloaded that onto this new version? Nope, 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 nope. I haven't re-downloaded this one. So there's some things I'm not going to be able to show you because I just haven't downloaded them onto here. I have a ton of stuff still on my account. All right, now going to the baseball history collection. You want to do players by country of birth. Well, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. It doesn't matter whether you use the 2022 or 2023 version, obviously. So let's go to Cuba and let's install it. Okay, only free agents. So we'll go to rosters. And actually, no, we don't have to go to rosters. We're not going to create teams. We are going to go to the database. Okay. And when you go to these big databases, whether it's the baseball history collection or what have you, anything that comes up like this, you're going to say, there's nothing there. Just go down, select free agents, and then select all. So these are meant for drafting, and 172 players. 172 players from Cuba, and that can be imported onto any draft league that you want, or dump a bunch of these guys in. I believe there's 12 countries, and each country has its own file. Just like anything in any database here, everything is sortable by statistical category, and you can get down here and really, really, really get deep, and even set up customized reports, by the way, too. So who's the home run king here from Cuba? Well, it's Rafael Palmeiro with 42, of course. There's Canseco, Perez, Tony Oliva, what have you. So, good stuff. What else can you do? What else can you do? This one, the next one I'll show you, I think would be I think of interest to a lot of people. And this is called a decade debut. Now, it might be that this is like a way to sort of fine tune or what have you the God, I'm losing my head today. A different spin, if you will, on the on the decade idea or whatever. So these are sort of debut leagues, okay? And do I have any of these set? And if not, I can just install one just to show you. Yep, I'll just install one. Doesn't matter. These are small files. So we're going to install a season, and again, leave this unchecked. Seasons folders, and I just work off the 2022 one. Doesn't matter. Okay, what if you wanted to make an entire draft league of players who debuted in, let's say, the 1950s? All right, let's install it. It's there. Again, when you see this, you know, just go to database. One of the ways to do it. All teams, free agents. I like to select all. You can do it just by batters or pitchers. So this is every player who played baseball who was born in the 1950s. And there's 1,004 players here just in this set. And this is one of the subsets of the baseball history collection. Hey, look at that, Eddie Matthews tops the list in home runs. Hey, there's Dave Gardner. Has seen teams not 12. I've never looked at 1899 in Outlook Park Baseball. I will have to look at that and see, Dave. It's a good question. Welcome in another another excellent YouTube creator, sports creator, hockey, of course, awesome hockey, um, and other sports as well, F-ball, baseball, but also it's Dave's kind of community confabs and everything like that. Also, along with Ron Juckett, the Digital Dice podcast, you get interviews there from Dave Cook. John Gerson has been on there. Mark Cohen, just a great litany of names. Most recent one, pardon me, was done with Steve Tower after further review of Steve Tower. So that was a fun one. So do check out Dave Gardner and that channel and learn all kinds of cool things about all kinds of cool things. So you could actually, if you wanted to, again, pull these out, pull them into a draft pool. Maybe you wanted to do something of players born in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. Very, very easy to just create leagues based on that and just go to town with it. But just imagine again the possible number of combinations that you have here. Just with 1,004 players, the number is literally astronomical. Some of the ones that I haven't shown you on here because I just haven't reinstalled them is the Hall. So that's every Hall of Famer, and it's, I don't know, however many players. It's just the players, so like 250. So there's enough for 10 teams to play. Really loaded teams if you wanted to. A World League would definitely interest. What you can kind of do it now with this. Not say for players born in smaller countries like the Netherlands, for instance, yet. But if you guys remember, I talked about wanting to do a sort of World Baseball Classic with major leaguers. But when I bought the product and realized, oh my God, right, Ireland has 135 players, just about all 19th century. And it's like, geez, now to create, by what criteria am I going to create the best, get the best players from the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, from Canada. The UK is represented in there. So definitely can do it. So the Hall is another good one. But of course, the big daddy is the Baseball History Collection, which you can just do scads and piles of stuff. But I think it's also now worth, for the Baseball History Collection. So, again, this is now not when a player was born, but rather who, and I'm sorry, on that last one I put who was born. I should have said that was a debut league. So, mea culpa on that one. Okay. But perhaps you want to do, instead of the entire baseball history master, maybe you just want to see maybe players that had at least 5,000 plate appearances, 2,000 innings pitched. And let's go to our database. And once again, let's just look at free agents. And we'll just look at batters. So this is, again, great for drafting. Obviously, players with considerable careers in baseball. And this is one, of course, that you guys know I've talked about ad nauseum, ad infinitum, the Baseball History Collection. I think it's great. And really, really, really good for what-if stuff. Click on any player, look at his card. Good stuff. Okay, let's exit. I think that about does it as far as the Dave Cook products. Just remember that the Baseball Classic decades and the best of 60s, best of 50s, those are different products. One is done at the team level, the other is done at the players level. So kind of just be aware of that. They're different enough that I think they merit a buy. Baseball's top 160 teams, absolutely an amazing set. Worth getting. The Hall, and I'm not sure, I haven't looked at the Hall, if that one, I looked at it once when I bought it, and that was it, and I wish I had it installed here. I don't, or downloaded. So I'm not sure if it's based on a player's best year, or if it's something that they kind of pulled out of the baseball history collection. I'm really, really not sure. But that is definitely another product. There's a few things I don't have from Action PC Baseball, like Pacific Coast League. There are homebrews out there. I don't have Pacific Coast League. I do have all their Negro League seasons. That said, I think what Steve Tate's doing is very, very good as far as Negro League. So I'll show you a couple things that are out there that are homebrews now. And again, this wasn't meant to be exhaustive, but just to get people thinking about different products other than, because I think as whether we play cards and dice or digital baseball, we largely think in terms of season replays. But look at what Legend Sports Universe is doing with his channel, with MLB The Show, breaking all kind of paradigms. And I'm one of the people whose paradigm was broken. I thought for ages and ages that was just an arcade Twitch game, and far from it, actually. What we've been doing here, what our Red Sox fan, he's been doing a lot. He does a lot of what if stuff too. So as an alternative to season replays, there's a lot out there if you just are willing to give it a go. Really, really, there you go. Hey, the deadballers.com. Let me check that one out, Joe Marty, and let's see if I know this site. Yes, but thank you for reminding me of this one. Actually, this one's neat, guys. You should just it's not just Deadball, but it is called the Deadballer, or Frank Russo's The Deadball Era, where players safe at home. There's a tribute there to Thurman Munson, which is nice. But there's an audio vault in here, video vault. So thank you for that, Joe. I completely forgot about this site. And it's www.thedeadballera.com. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll leave that up there. Christopher Slovic talking about a what if project. Go look at his Creators Cup. Brilliant. Expands our worlds. So complete decades are on sale. And if you buy these even if you buy complete decades, two purposes there. So thank you for that, World's Worst Gamer. Right? So you can buy the entire 1970s, but you could even create just a what if out of those seasons if you want. So go to town, man. Expand your horizons. Yeah, Joe, that is a great site. Thank you for reminding me of this. I haven't looked at those in a long time. All right, what about some cool homebrews that are out there? Well, let's have a look about. Let's go and walk about a bit. All right, now this time I am going to check display all zip files because now we're going into some community stuff here. Okay, why? And these will come up zip files because even though these come with the game, it's going to look where you would have seasons installed either in game, seasons, or downloads. So this comes with Baseball's all-time top 20. I never play with these out of the rip. I'd rather get into the products themselves. But let's go to seasons here. Now there are, if you're Bernard and you don't want to take the bait and you don't want to buy the best of collection, well, there's some homebrews here too. So here's a 1940s all-time greats franchise. Let's install it. This is a homebrew. Apparently I already had it installed before. Whatever. You will find these in Sports Replays will be one of the places you'll find them. I believe APC Community. This is a homebrew of all these teams. So this is again the best franchise record, but this was done by a homebrewer. So you might want to maybe you might have both products. Maybe you want to compare them. Perhaps, I don't know. Pittsburgh, yeah, this is when we're starting our downhill slide. So 81, 73, still a decent Pirate team, but that would soon end. Okay, so there's that. But what else? What else? I think another one that would be of interest is this one, if I can find it. It's an all-time great franchise league, but it's, let's see, where is it? Give me a second. Just keep chatting there, fellas, till I find it. And one of the things about this game is after you own it for a while, your directories are going to start looking like this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because it's a modern one, what I would consider modern. Where are you? God, I hate when I can't find things. There's the Steve Tate stuff. We'll get to. There we go. Here it is. So, you guys don't want to go back to old time baseball and an all time greats franchise. Well, this is franchise best 1990 to 2016. These are not put onto rosters or anything like that. We can go to database. Once again, we're doing free agents only. And maybe this one didn't. This one I've got to reinstall because I do remember now that this is an actual league of 1990 to 2016. So you might want to check that out. I just need to re-download it. And of course, here's another one. This was done by Zep13. I believe you find these on the the APC community, as well as the Action PC forums. So this is a 3-year franchise run. This one, I believe, is the year 2000 to 2019. So over a 20-year run, this is the best run for each franchise. We've got Chicago, and it's going to be that this is not the 2017 Chicago White Sox, but rather, and you will get a lot of doppelgangers in this. Again, I would say use it as a draft league. It does come with a schedule. If you don't mind doppelgangers, of course, go for it. We haven't looked at the Cubs today, have we? So there's the Cubs. So this is one of those nice homebrews. Similar in some respects, but not as granular as Steve Tate's. Fantastic work, which we will look at next. Because it just wouldn't be the same if we didn't look at something from the Sith Lord himself, right? I don't have the most recent one. I know that he did one in January, but that's all right. So this is a 5-year run, but Steve does. This isn't a 20-year run, as Zep's files are, right? This is a decade. So if we look here, like for 1900 to 1909, we have a 1901 to 1905 Pirate Squad, 1905 to 1909. But this community is more interested in modern baseball. So from 60 to 79, there's a lot of teams from 60 to 79, as you can see. So there's the Mets, 69 to 73, and this is encompassing both of those great Mets teams. The 69 team, of course, better, but they're all on here. Steve has said he's meant this more of as a draft league, or again, dragging teams over and playing them that way. As you can see, there's no schedule. No schedule. They may be evil, but the Empire did bring order to the galaxy. That is true. And Steve did bring us none of these fantastic files, but the Negro League project that I hope he'll get back to once he gets off of this illness called basketball. Joe Murtis says, so I know he's still working on it. I know that basketball is kind of distracting. Steve is kind of like the Rube Waddell of the community. He does amazing work. But right when MV picked up Super Mega Baseball 4, he's thinking, how can I recreate what I've done in this game? So, yeah. I think Steve's all-time greats franchise file is going to be amazing when it's he is Rube Waddell. He is the Rube Waddell. So Oh, Dwayne is saying he's thinking of doing every World Series. Wow, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. Christopher Slovic says everyone motivates him to do creative projects. Yep, absolutely. World's Worst Gamer once. Oh, so Bernard Strom just bought the State Collection. It's a good one. It is a good one. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Pick your state and go with it. Or trade players, move them around, rename them. I did show on this channel before. I'm not going to go through it again. How you just take a bunch of players, dump them into a draft pool, and just let the AI create your teams. Do it over and over and over again. We were able to, with Action PC, to create something like the Endemic Gravy League, like the Howie Shanks League. Out of the Park would let you do that, but a lot harder. Still great. So nice to see my Pittsburgh Pirates on here. There we go. So Christopher Slovic and I were going to relive some nice memories here with, Neil Walker and Pedro Alvarez and Polanco, Marte, Russell Martin, all these guys, the 2012 to 2016 Pittsburgh Pirates, when we were good. Anyhow. Yeah, I'll absolutely be glad to help you with that, Dwayne. In fact, I can just talk to you about right here. So you want to do every World Series. What I wanted to do was which would be a mammoth project either way. I wanted to do a World Series project, so I didn't know whether I wanted to start with the most recent World Series or start with 1903. So play it out. The winner of the 1903 World Series will go on to face the historical winner of the 1904 series. I wanted to see, just by going through history, like I wanted to look for streaks of teams. So and see, and then just kind of rank them and see how they do. I know it's not fair to the. So of course we would go to 1905. There was no series in 1904. So let's say the 1903 Pirates would win. They would go on to face the winner of the '05 series, and whoever would win that would just keep going. Kind of a replay of World Series history, but in a mega tournament, if you will. There he is. He finally comes in. So, guys, I'm going to take a moment here and let you know this is Michael Silva. Everybody, please welcome Michael Silva. And let me tell you a little bit about him. I do not know him personally. However, this is Silva M, the Out of the Park community, and all of us who have the stadium mod, right? All that fantastic stadium logos mod, right? This is the man right here, guys. Give him a hello, a hashtag, Michael. Um, it's brilliant. It is brilliant. It has made everybody's projects. I mean, whether it's season replays, Michael, or it's playing these tournaments, what ifs, what have you. The out of the park community is so indebted to you, as is the Action PC community, because you've seen your ballparks used in Action PC baseball. And Michael says he just got into Action PC baseball. He has the 1986 season, but it's great to hear all these ideas and what can be done. Absolutely. Thanks for the intro. Call you Mike. All right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And also, if you, Mike, I'm guessing you still have that same avatar on the out of the park fora. If it's funny, guys. Just it's really fun. So check out the little avatar photo. So everybody, a good thank you for welcoming in Mike. He has been just absolutely fantastic. And also, check out YouTube. Do you want to see the magic behind it? And I think you really, really, really appreciate the work that he's done. Every ballpark from 1901 to present. But when you watch how he does them, it's a considerable amount of work. It really, really, really is. And his attention to detail is amazing. So you found that back when you first joined in the early 2000s. That I know that I that was just funny. It's just funny. So check it out, guys. Hey, Michael, while you're here, I had a question for you. So in Out of the Park Baseball, we're starting a different tournament that's just focused on 19th century and dead ball teams. So dead ball ballparks, not a problem. And I know that 19th century ballparks are a bit of a hassle. Just curious, I was looking around on the Out of the Park forums. I think what I'm going to do is just try to find some ballparks that would approximate 19th century. But my question, do you know if does Out of the Park plan on doing anything more with its ballpark editor? I think they have something there that's kind of the ginger-headed stepchild. I think it's nice. I don't think it compares to what you do, but I think for quick mock-ups of ballparks and stuff like that, just some fictional parks, I think it's great. I was just wondering if you knew what was going on with that in the community, whether Marcus and Marcus and company, Matt and those guys want to do anything more with that ballpark creator. Because right now, the one in Earl Weaver baseball is better. But again, Michael Silva, welcome in. Michael, one of these files that you're looking at here, this 5-year file, go download it. It's free. This is the National League franchises runs. These are done by our community member Steve Tate. So Mike says, I'm on the beta, and believe me, I try. I push them to try and update the editor every year. Unfortunately, they have a small group who work on the 3D. It's definitely got some promise, but I can also see why they're not doing with the work that you've done. It's like, why do it? Mike's done it, so. But I think for me, rather than going out and trying to just find a ballpark and say, okay, for our 1884 Providence Grays, we're going to pretend that this is Messer Street Field. I'd like to sort of, I want to do my own, but and I do work in 3D. I do 3D art and things like that. But watching your tutorials, I'm like, forget it. This guy's you're the maestro with that. So, but again, just huge thanks to not only for that, but I mean you're very very active in the Out of the Park forums, and I've been playing the game since the first iteration. But you've answered a lot of questions for me, not even realizing it. Bernard says there are several lists on the internet of greatest World Series ever. It would be fun to play an elimination tournament using one of those lists. You could, and you can do it in Out of the Park, and you can do it in Action PC. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. A big clue. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to. Yeah, same one. It's Beatles. It's either Beatles Forever or Beatles Eternally. So, Mike, this is not like putting you to work or anything like that, but because of what you've done in the Out of the Park community and everything like that, yeah, just made you moderator. So, you want to put links into things, you want to talk baseball, you want to smack a couple people that come in and misbehave. You get a wrench here. Thank you. I'll have to see who I am on the Out of the Park forums. I'm like double A minors in that, so I don't post a lot on there, but I am on there. I think if you type Beatles, you'll find me. I think I'm the only Beatles person on there. Let me see who I am. Damn it. Damn it. Anyhow, I am Beatles Eternally, so same as this, but it's Beatles space Eternally. So, and I am on there. Yes, yes, yes. Please join our Discord, Mike. So this is when you first go in, you're going to think it's Action PC Baseball, but it's pretty much everybody. It's Diamond Mind, everything. Disturb? You're not disturbing anything. Are you kidding? My streams are disturbing, Mike. That's what it is. It's disturbing. So people come in here just to see what train wreck will happen today. Clee Baseball fans says, good afternoon, everyone. Got you on the headphones, working at 2:30, then off to play pinball. Nice. Cue the CSI theme. Who are you? Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, written by The Who. Exactly. He's also known in some circles as Sean the Irish Bastard. Well done. Well done. All right, welcome in, Tim. Welcome in. So we're just about to wrap this up. So sites. So since Mike, you're new, to Action PC Baseball. I'll bring up a really, really cool website if you're not um, familiar with it, that has just a ton of stuff here. And hopefully today OBS will cooperate, and indeed it has chosen not to. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is the Action PC Sports community. It's apccommunity.com, which I'll put that link in the chat, and I'll show you what's on offer here. It's pretty cool. So there you go. That's for anybody else that wants that. So you just go up here, and of course there are lesser sports here too, but who cares about those? Content. Let's look at seasons first. What's available here? So here's the 3-year franchise files by Zep 317, which I think Zep is also he's also an out of the park player. These are all available. There's 1926 Negro Leagues, all kinds of stuff here that you can play. You want some Japanese baseball. It's all here. All this is free. So Mike, you can certainly load up on Action PC Baseball stuff. And then here down at the bottom, these are outdated ones, but these are the franchise files for the 5-year franchise files for Steve Tate. The most recent ones, I believe, are on the Action PC forum themselves. But baseball, you want images, man. They got images. You're doing a 1961 replay, like Dwayne is doing on PC or Digital Diamond Baseball. These are just photos just for 1961, but there's a lot of these, 61, 62, whatever. You want to do a season replay and you just want photos there. And Steve has shown you guys how to put folders, pictures into a subdirectory if you're just doing a season replay of a specific year and you don't want everybody else. They're all here. They're all here. You're doing, you want logos. Logos are in here. Negro League players photos, which I never noticed this one before. There's uniforms. Here's Major League Baseball logos from 1890 to 2023. Hat and uniform combinations, 1900 to 2020. All this stuff is free. Lance Powers ballpark images. This is a great start to getting a ton of ballparks into your Action PC projects, leagues, replays, whatever the hell you're doing. And then finally, I don't really mess with this, but baseball sounds, if you want to get those. So, and then of course the Action PC forums themselves. I do not want to try the AI powered thing right now. Thank you. So lots of stuff in here. Cheech411, who's also on the Out of the Park forums. He's kind of like this curator of player photos. So right now, 40,776 player photos. This one isn't as nicely organized as APC Community, but dig through here and you're going to find things. You want to just go and look for just kind of some ballparks, but you don't want everything. Lance Power has this great, it's called Name That Ballpark. And of course you can, one of the beauties of Action PC Baseball is if it's an image, you can use it as a ballpark. So just a couple. Also, there's sportsreplays.net. Let me show you that one. I believe this is a guy. This is done from a guy in the UK, and no, not MV. So there's Action PC Baseball, but what you want to actually go and look for, I think it's, where's the downloads section? Yep, there it is. Duh. Indexed by game. So there's Action PC Baseball, and the HTML coding is not good on this page at all, so you're still going to have to scroll down to get to it under that. There we go. So you've got, there's this 1955, 56 to 55 homebrew. There's the 1974 PCL season. There are 162 game schedules that you can do. Shim Woolley, he's got the 2016 Major League Ballparks and older photo packs you want. So some of this stuff is older. There's the 1950 to 1999 franchise best file. That's the one. And these were imported from Steve Tate's 3 decades. So Steve's also done the 60s, 70s, and 80s in his own 1990 to 2016 homebrew. So lots of good stuff. And then down here, kind of hard to see, but there's more links. So a lot of stuff available for Action PC Baseball as well. That's it, guys. Might do a game later, but I know Bernard Strom has a game coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes on PC Replay Baseball. 1950 Red Sox, and he's also doing the 1912 Red Sox in Action PC, a season replay, and doing live play-by-play now. So, good stuff. And that is what's going on. I don't think I'm going out tonight to do any music or anything like that. So, we'll be doing some dead ball action today. We're going to be going back to the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 1884 Providence Grays, continue in the Ken Castro tournament. And that we're going to get back into 1934, that 1934 season replay. And just whatever else. I guess that's it. Baseball demos will have a game in about 45 minutes. Good. Mike says, thank you for the info. If you have any questions, hit me up in the Out of the Park forum. I'll try and join the Discord. Big clue listed. All right. Thanks, Mike, for coming in. Nice. And I guess that's all. Going to go off and do something. You guys have heard me prattle on for an hour and 27 minutes, and on a Saturday morning, that is tantamount. That's a violation, actually. Oh, now we're in the afternoon. It's a violation of the 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution, and I don't want to be violating that. We'll leave that to the politicians. Yep, and also if you're looking for Steve's 1960s, 70s, and 80s baseball's franchise best file, there they are. Okay. All right. Thank you to Big Clue, to Mike Silva, to Tim Clee, Baseball Fan 879, Dwayne Martz, YouTube Network, doing some good stuff there with Digital Diamond Baseball on his channel. World's Worst Gamer, threw a 2-hitter and lose 3-0. House Schumacher in your 19th. You're still slogging through 1933. Way to go, World's Worst Gamer. All right. Aaron Reed, thank you, Aaron. Aaron wants to do some color. So we'll get you on a game, Aaron, that'll be a little bit more modern to do some color, maybe sometime today or this evening. To Nathaniel Lentz, our good friend, Bernard Strom. Again, broadcast coming up there at 1:30, so you can always switch between David Baseball Demos, Bernard Strom, depending upon which is your bag. Do that. Joe Murray was here. Andrew RW603. Make sure I get everybody here. Christopher Slovic, my good friend from across the Commonwealth. Look forward to his, not that we're ready for him to go back to Islamabad yet, but looking forward to a continuation of his Creators Cup series. That is a master class in how to create a tournament in out-of-the-park baseball. Midlife Crisis, going out to do some shopping, but stopped in for a little while to visit with us. Legend Sports Universe, guys, I cannot stress enough. Grab a beverage later after you watch David Baseball Demos and Bernard Strom and well, what everybody else is, right? But go check out this Expos Cardinals game that Legend Sports Universe did this morning. No spoilers. It was a great game. All right. And RJO Network stopped in from work to say hi to us. So tonight will be an Inside Pitch Baseball, Cards and Dice. It'll be the 2016 replay, and it's Seattle versus Houston. So we'll probably see a lot of people saying rigged. And today, first in the ballpark, Nathaniel Lentz, who wins a Robbie Wartburg bobblehead doll. And that's it. Big Clue says, I get violated either way. Baseball's a better reason than any other. Yeah, good point. All right, guys. Live baseball. Love it. Breathe it. Digital it up. Cards and dice it up. Watch it. Debate it. Read it. All those cool things. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you around the batting cage.